Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
All right, guys, welcome back to the show. I am your host, Brett McCollum, and I'm here today with Peter Silvester. And today we're going to be talking about monetizing insurance. Before we do, at Investor Fuel, we help real estate investors, service providers, and real estate entrepreneurs to 2 to 5x their businesses to allow them to build the businesses they've always wanted and live the lives they've always dreamed of. Without further ado, Peter, how are you?
Doing great. Great to see you, Brett. Wonderful day.
Man. Yeah, thanks for catching up with me pre-show, getting to know you a little bit. I'm genuinely excited. This is going to be a very interesting show for us today. And it's a topic that I told you, full transparency, I don't seem to know a lot about. So I am selfishly interested to learn more and get to know this subject matter more. But before we get after it and get into all the things, Peter, can you do us a favor, walk us back a little bit, give us some context and history? Who is Peter Silvester?
Sure. So once upon a time, I was in the graphics business, went out to Hollywood as a young guy and was in the printing business, and everything went to computers at some point, got into graphic design, did a lot of work for all the advertising agencies that are familiar to household names, did a lot of work for big companies like Apple and all the movie posters and videos and things, not the videos, but the advertising for movies and advertising for big name brands like Apple, like the car brands. So that was fun for a long time until I realized, well, I'm not that happy about working inside, and it's really not going to bring in a lot of money, right? So I ventured out, which is hard for a 9-to-5 person to do. I ventured out into becoming a real estate agent. And then from there, I really learned a lot about different types of assets. I wasn't happy with just the homes. I went in to learn about commercial properties and creative financing and creative ways to selling. One big project was short selling a bunch of homes near USC that were making a ton of money, and yet it was possible to short sell them and have the inspectors come out and call them dumpy houses, right?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So each one was sold in like the $200,000-$300,000 range when really they were worth more like $1 million each.
Wow.
And so that was pretty cool and creative to do that. And for the buyer to hire the seller as a consultant to make sure that she had cash, because with a short sale, you're not supposed to get any money.
Right.
So she was able to walk away with a good amount of cash being hired as a consultant. So that was kind of fun. And then from there, exited communist California and came to Texas, where everything's been great ever since. Lovely people and lovely progressive as far as business,
Right.
Greg Abbott has brought in so much business into Texas. It's really exciting times,
Mm-hmm.
and it's still growing and booming. So there's a lot of building and development.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
And then one day I met this guy who sells insurance, and he told me about this product and said, oh my gosh, you got to come to my real estate meetings. So from there, I joined his team because this is what every operator needs, is a good amount of extra income coming in, which boosts the revenue, of course, and this actually boosts occupancy by the way it's sold. And of course, it increases the value of each property or of the whole portfolio. So that's what I'm here to talk about today, because this is really helping out property owners across the country when sometimes the economy is not so kind to property owners, with reduced rents and reduced occupancy. It can mean losing a property, especially if they have some strange loans going on. So this could be a matter of make or break, adding these insurance policies that the tenants already need, and they're enjoying these products because it's sold to them at a lesser cost than they would have to pay if found outside somewhere else. These are just funneled through the property managers, and these actually give a very high level of quality to the lives of the tenants.
Right. And I'm excited because that's what I'm going to ask. I'm going to have so many questions to ask you about that when we get there. Let's back up a little bit though. So you started off, you went into graphics, you said, is that correct?
I did.
So what kind of graphics was it that you were doing?
Well, anything that is printed. So any kind of billboards that you've seen, like when Apple came out with the iPods and things, they were very cool graphic designs that went across the world. So I worked on those, and those are very simple graphics, but a lot of movie posters and putting together images to create a collage of things, and changing them from RGB space to CMYK space in order to print properly. That's kind of highly technical, and I was really great at retouching. For the car ads and the people. So that was pretty fun, It's rewarding in a way, but there's nothing more rewarding than getting out and about and connecting people with other people to make deals happen. And providing large amounts of money flowing into their lives, just enriching everyone's lives.
Do you still enjoy any, is that an enjoyable thing for you to do still, maybe even in spare time, or do you not really mess with graphics that much these days? Or
not as much. I am hired on occasion by a very famous clothing designer, James Purse. So occasionally I do work on their projects.
I imagine, and the reason I'm asking, because I imagine that at a minimum scratches that creative itch, right?
Sure.
Being able to function creatively in a way. I'm a musician, and we're working professionally in our respective businesses, and so sometimes when you do get that opportunity to play music, or you do get that opportunity to do design work and stuff like this, that's that creative side of us that we don't. I don't know about you, but I don't get to use as much. So I'm thinking in my head of, I bet you being able to do it at least some, it gives that I get to satisfy that creative side that I love.
That is one. And then there's another business I have, which is a wellness business, medbedspausa.com. And why I got into that is because we're getting killed all the time by big pharma, the food industry. So that led my wife and I to open up a healing business and really educate the public.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
On alternative ways to stay healthy,
Yeah.
all the way to the most premium product of all, which is stem cell therapy. But we
Yeah.
could talk about that another day. All right. Today, I just want to provide really valuable insurance products that the owners of these properties don't even buy. It's actually passed on to the tenants, and the tenants enjoy them because they're provided at such a discounted rate with such a high value to them
Yeah. Well,
while protecting the property.
and Peter, I think we would be at least remiss that at the end, let's bring up some of that here to be able, if people did hear that from you and go, like, I still want to learn more about that. Okay. Like we'd be
Sure.
remiss to not at least do. Okay. So you did the graphics thing. How long were you in that industry? Like before you kind of started into the real estate space?
Oh my gosh, I was in that for 20 plus years.
Yeah. 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 I was thinking that too. I was like, you probably had a healthy career there. So you get into real estate after 20 plus years. You're enjoying more of the wholesale side of things. It sounded like, those opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
You said something that I would love. The owner, you turned them into a consultant. Is that how that worked?
I turned the owners of the buildings, you're talking about the owner, they become like an insurance company without having to jump through the hoops of becoming an insurance company. By putting them in what we call a captive, we could actually share underwriting profits with them. And they have, because they own shares in the captive, basically. It's
Right.
it's their captive. So they own 100% of their captive, and they can, with 1,500 doors or more, they could actually receive 90% of the profits from
Oh
the
man.
underwriting.
Yeah. And I apologize. I probably could have said it a little better on the short sale side. And I think that's really, by the way, now that you said it like that, I kind of get where you're going with the insurance. But on the short sale business, back when you were doing
Yes.
that, you mentioned that, because you're right, the owner of those properties that was being short sold are technically not supposed to receive profit from the sale. But you
Right.
mentioned
So
something about them turning into a consultant. Did I catch that correctly?
that's right. So that becomes a transaction outside of escrow, where the buyer hired the seller as a consultant with a one-time fee of $100,000.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because that's another creative thing that I don't think I've heard people do. Um,
No, you have to call it that. It's legitimate because the buyer could ask questions of like, how is each house run? How do you operate? Any number of questions, and the answers become like a consultant. And you need
because it's a consultant, you can name the fees as
that's
you
right.
want. Yeah, that's incredible, and thus giving value back to the seller in that situation. That's incredible. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, we probably could deep dive that and have a whole show about that, right? Like, that's interesting. So, all right. So you ran that. How long were you doing the short sale thing for before you landed in the insurance product space?
Well, I've been in real estate now since 2010, so
Yeah,
a good while,
25 years.
14, 15, yeah, 15 years now. So, so I was working in the commercial real estate space. So when deals came up like that were creative, then
Yep.
I figured out a solution for them.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. All right. Here, and I wanted to kind of, I love that you understand the actual, because as a real estate investing podcast, knowing that you have that background and that context and that history of being in the real estate space, lends a lot to the credibility of what you're talking about, right? Because You get me, you get us, you understand our world, what we do, because you've been there and done it.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
You know?
Right. In addition, when my wife and I came to Texas, we joined a syndication group and we bought 64 units
Oh, wow.
in the San Antonio market.
Yeah. I mean, you're actively doing it too. And I think that's what makes this, what we're getting ready to talk about, so special. Is the fact that you practice what you preach, and I think that's really
right.
cool. All right. So let's do this as best we can, because we talked about this pre-show. I'm very ignorant on the subject matter of what you're going to talk about. So let's try, for my smaller brain, if you will, here. Let's break it down, simplify. All right, you jump into the insurance thing, and this product itself, give it, if you can, kind of tell us what you call it, and then step by step break it down what it is.
Okay, there's a number of components. I'll go through each one.
Sure.
The first that really increases the occupancy is security deposit insurance, especially
security deposit insurance.
Yes, during hard times, when people have a difficult time coming up with another $1,500, $2,000, whatever it is, dollars to move in for security deposit insurance. Instead, you offer them an opportunity to buy this insurance product.
Mhm.
It's always, in this case, it's an offering, right? You can't demand it, but you can offer it. So you either collect your security deposit or you collect the insurance for it. And the insurance covers the value of the security deposit. So when operators are lowering their security deposit just to get people in the door, that becomes kind of dangerous because they're leaving themselves at risk.
Sure.
So if they're taking $300, well, people are more than happy to walk away with that, right?
Right.
But if you say, okay, well, I want to say it should be 1,000 or there should be 1,500, then you can say, well, you can pay $33 a month instead. I'm just giving you an example.
Right.
It varies. It could be $28. It depends on the value of the security deposit. And they're going to say yes every time because people don't really want to give up that big chunk of money because they know it might be hard to get when they move out and they don't know how long they're going to live there. But most people are going to be there for, let's say, a year, 2 years. Well, it takes like 3.5 years to equal the amount of the security deposit.
Right. So security deposit insurance, how does that a product that goes to the tenant? How does that work?
So it's a matter of clicking 2 boxes on a piece of paper. So they choose that, right? So now every month there's an extra little amount of money that flows in with their rent. And it's easy to calculate, okay, this many people.
This is for the tenant, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
This piece is for the security deposit insurance, right? So that secures their security deposit. Now, if they leave, if they walk out, then at least the property owner gets that security deposit.
Right.
Within
So that
2
protects
days.
the property owner too at the same time, and it gives them, if they don't have the capital to be able to do it.
Right. And let's say they live there for 5 years or more, they're still paying that same amount.
So does that fund then grow, the security deposit fund, over time?
It grows over time. And even after 12 to 18 months, we can establish how many claims.
Mm-hmm.
So you take that lump sum and additional fee. First of all, there's a fee up front. So you add another $2. So there's
Mhm.
$2 that is a revenue stream on top of that. But then there's underwriting profits that are shared back with the property owners. So
Okay.
after 12 to 18 months, we can establish minus the claims, here's the profits. Now this big chunk of money is profits
Love it. Yeah.
that then you could continue to invest. So long
Hmm.
as you don't take it, you're not paying taxes on it.
Right.
So that's excellent. So that's the one product. And that one product can be divvied up any which way. You can be really creative and say, no, I want to take in $300, but the security deposit is $2,000. So then, because you want the tenant to have skin in the game kind of thing,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
So it could be done any which way. Now there's people have dogs. Well, there's a lot of states that are getting rid of junk fees, and they're calling a dog fee a junk fee
Mm.
in a liberal states. So this is an actual insurance product, and it's dog bite, dog damage insurance.
Okay.
Now there's $10,000 coverage for bodily injury. So the tenant is going to love this because it protects them as the property, as the dog owner, and it also protects the property owner because if somebody gets bitten by a
That's
dog
right.
on your property, that could be a problem.
Yep. There's liability for sure.
Now, if the dog damages your property, minus the carpet, because I
Right
have to
there.
say that.
Yep.
But if they start chewing up cabinets and doors and put holes in the wall or who knows what, you have coverage on your unit from this dog insurance.
Got it.
So that's a benefit to the owner as well as the dog owner. Now that's a nice piece because it's $30. $10 up front goes the property owner.
Hmm.
$10 of that. There's no additional fee on top of that. The $10 comes straight out of the 30.
Right.
And it's less than what you would say a dog fee is. Some companies are saying I need an extra $200 a month or whatever it is. Well, in some states, you're not allowed to do that anymore. So this insurance piece covers multiple realms. It covers the unit, covers the dog owner, and it protects the owner from having to adhere to owner's laws in unwelcome states.
Right. Wow.
Okay. So there's those two. Now there's renter's insurance. Most owners require renter's insurance
That's right.
just to cover their own stuff. Well, this one is tenant legal liability insurance, which covers $100,000 of the unit inside the walls
Okay.
of that unit. And it covers 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, whatever, of the actual person's personal property. So the tenant is going to have to get this somewhere else, but this is cheaper and actually covers the unit as well.
Hmm.
So it covers the tenant and covers the property owner. And the money is flowing through again with the rent, so you know they're buying it every month. Because if you have a tenant, if you require a tenant to get renter's insurance, they might cancel it a month later. Now you
Right.
have outside services that monitor that. Well, you don't need that outside service anymore because you know it's flowing through.
Interesting. Yeah, that makes sense.
And again, this one you add $5 on top of that, so it's cash flow right away, extra
Hmm.
revenue flowing in. And again, there's underwriting profits on the back end because this also goes into that captive we're talking about on those other two products. This is the third one now
Right.
that also flows into that. Now, minus claims, now we realize there's a big chunk of money here that the owner has. Now, that's pretty clear, right?
Right.
Okay, now there's a fourth one, and that is uh, it's a concierge service. Now, this is a whole array of products that could be customized, and you can take modules out or add modules in. And this is like a It it's just a very small fee for the insurance product in a way for the tenant. And the tenant enjoys this because why? Because it helps them move in, helps them connect all their utilities, and it gives them oh, identity theft insurance.
Right.
So it gives them the blanket of that. Also changes their air filters if applicable. You could take that module out, it doesn't matter. You could, like I said, you could put modules in, take them out, and also also reports positively to the credit bureaus every single month that they pay on time.
Mm-hmm.
And if they miss, we give them uh you know a bet you give them a pass on one of the months
Okay.
if they miss. So a new person into the market, like they move away from home, they move into an apartment, they don't have any credit history. So this adds up their positive credit history really fast.
Sure.
And there's a couple of other pieces that go into that, but generally speaking, this is a concierge package that starts at about $4, $8, something like that. An extra fee is put on top of that. So again, you got cash flow flowing in immediately that month, and the rest of it goes into the captive. So underwriting profits are shared back with the property owner on the back end.
That's incredible.
And all this can add up to as much as $400 per unit per year.
Wow. Okay. And you beat me to the punch. That's what I was going to say. On average, like, what are you normally seeing, for the investor, like, per unit, upwards of $400. I mean, and that's just for a product that the tenant has to have anyway.
That's right.
There's you're utilizing a resource that is going to have to happen no matter what, and adding value to it, to the actual property owner. In addition to, I know, as the investor, let me back up a little bit. Good investors, the ones that care about people, right,
That's
want to
right.
give them the best thing possible. Want to give
Yeah,
them nice properties to live in. Want to give them, especially if they're raising families and things like that. And you're like, you don't want to. Most of us are good people. I'd say most people are inherently good. There's some bad ones out there, but there's some good people, and you want to do right by them, and so they're going to have insurance anyway. And then I see
that,
your guys doing that, giving your tenants a great product as well. It's really cool to see. It's both sides.
thank you. That's what I love about this because there's a lot of owners out there that are kind of unscrupulous, let's say,
Sure.
and they have onerous or punitive fees to monetize their properties more so than just the rent.
Yep.
This, on the other hand, provides value to the tenants
That's right.
and value to the property. And with these kind of benefits, these tenants are likely to stay at a property longer, appreciate the owner much more, the property managers much more
Yep.
than they would at other properties, because these are truly value add solutions.
Yeah. I think this is great, and I think for the service that you provide to the industry, I'm going to make a broad guess, and what I'm about to say, and if I'm wrong, please correct me, okay? I would imagine that most of the real estate investor community doesn't really understand or know this product.
That's right.
Yeah.
There's other products. Here's what's really sad though, is I do have to educate them because they might be using another product that is not true insurance,
Hmm.
especially with self-storage, because we could actually provide some of this for self-storage owners. But there's some products out there that don't come from insurance companies, and they provide it at such a small fee that they say, oh, well, you, the property owner, could tack on $15, $20, what the crazy amount of money. The problem is, if there's actually a claim, there's no money to cover their claim.
Right.
That would have to come out of the pockets of the owners if they have it. And if they don't, and they get reported to the insurance agency, they're going to be in big trouble. And there has been owners fined over $200,000 providing fake insurance.
That's tough. Yeah, I think it's just really important that I'm glad we're doing this and getting the information more out there to the public to like, and you knew this as a like in the realtor space. Do you know like how uneducated realtors are typically, right? And how, I mean, investors too. A lot of us got into it because we fell into something and we just started building something and we just, well, this is how we do it because this is how we've always done it. And, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, kind of thing. And there's a lot of ignorance out there. Like you're not trying to be bad. You just don't know better.
I was very shocked one day. I was at the gym, being a realtor, I love to talk about real estate with everybody. You kind of have to generate leads, right? So I was talking to this guy and said, hey, I'm a real estate agent. I'm looking for 50 units, whatever, just talking about what I needed in that day. And he says, oh, you came to me a little late. I just sold a apartment building. And to me, I'm like, what do you mean you just sold it? Like, end of story. I said, oh, excuse me. What do you mean you sold it? Did you do a 1031 exchange? No, I didn't know what that was. Okay, so what did you do? I just paid the taxes. And I was blown away. So that person hired an agent, worked with an accountant, obviously, right?
Yep.
They probably have one. And nobody told them, hey, stop. You can't just sell this property. You can't do that. You have to do a 1031 exchange, or you have to do something. You have to get a Delaware trust or something to save you over $200,000 in taxes.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And some people don't know,
they don't.
And you don't know unless you are taught, and it's like it's when you don't even know how to ask the question because you don't know enough to ask a question. And that part is where it's like hearing you talk about this, I'm like, of course I know what insurance is. Peter, I was an insurance adjuster. I've adjusted over 5,000 claims. I know the business. I've never heard of that. How am I supposed to ask a question to something I've never heard of? Kind of thing. And so I love that you're doing this and getting this out there and talking about it more because it's add value to the property in addition to the cash flow. Because we know that renters are going to, not every one of them, but renters are going to destroy properties. It's going to happen.
Right. Now you have this extra layer of protection for that property. So you're maybe not having to go to your insurance agent that covers the entire property.
Yep.
And the less times you do that, the more you save.
Well, this, the average investor that has, let's call it, a handful of properties or whatever, turnover, and they have to, how much money are they spending in getting the property turned? It's a lot, and then all the cash flow that they maybe had for that year and a half, 2 years is now just gone, plus some, and they're never really, and now they're just banking on appreciation and hopefully that they have equity in the property. That's I'm doing it for the equity, Ideally, we would do it for the cash flow and the equity, right? But when you're turning a property and that money's gone, I think this really helps protect that. I love that. If people were to want to reach out to connect with you to learn more about this directly, what's the best way for them to do that?
Oh, they could call me at 737-881-9229.
Okay. And website, anything like that?
Website? Well, I would say the phone call is best.
Yeah.
And then I'll send them an email. And
love that.
With all the details.
Yeah, and we'll make sure that gets into the show notes and for people to he put his number out there, guys. So that means use it, okay? And I encourage you strongly. Like, I just haven't heard it pitched quite like this before in a way that makes sense from an insurance perspective. And guys, I strongly encourage you to take a look at that. Have the conversation. At a minimum, have a conversation. Get yourself educated. Learn the product. Especially, Peter, like, people have to use it anyway. You may as well as a property owner monetize it like we were been talking about. So
That's right.
yeah,
And to make it clear, this is insurance covered by reinsurance, covered by reinsurance with really huge names.
yeah,
But the names are big deal. I don't want to bore people with the names of these companies because, like, there's already so much stuff we need to learn, right?
sure.
Like these details of 1031 exchanges and things like that. But once they call me and connect, they're going to realize, oh, wow, this is for real. This is a real insurance company. It's not some fee company that is acting like an insurance company. And there's insurance companies out there that were based from hedge funds that are in trouble right now.
Yep.
And they're the ones like I don't want to name names and get in trouble with people, but they're taking in fees on top and providing fees to the property owners on top, but they're not sharing on the back end.
Yeah.
And they're not getting enough to cover the claims.
Yeah. Question for you. I forgot to ask you this and I apologize. Who's the target avatar, for your like clientele? Like who's the target person that this would benefit the most?
I just met a guy yesterday at my real estate meetup group, which happens every Tuesday in Austin. It's a ongoing real estate investor communication meeting that has been going on for like 9 years now, run by Ken Harris. Great guy, friend of mine. And one guy was there and he has 2,200 units. So he's excited to learn because he is enjoying upfront fees, but he's not getting the back end profits
Sure.
like
Yeah.
I talked about. So I'm going to talk with him soon about changing him over to our product. So that's our avatar, somebody that has a portfolio of over 1,000. We can start with 300 units. So
Yeah.
the share of profits on the back end is not going to be 90%. It's going to be less, but still, it's a great way to start. And there's a lot of people growing and they just got to the 300 point. We could start them off right away.
Perfect.
So there's so many syndicators and also property management companies
Yep.
that watch this video and say, gee, I could add value to myself by offering this as to the owners, to
That's
the
right.
syndicators. Because the front end money coming in could be shared with your property management company. That way you're incentivizing them.
That's right.
And then the huge amount of profits on the back end is just kept with the property owner.
Perfect. Yeah. And that's it. I love that. So guys, if that's you, reach out to Peter immediately. Go rewind. I'm telling you, you're not going to be sorry you did. But Peter, man, this has been great. I really sincerely appreciate you taking your time, spending and teaching us new things that we may not have heard of before, and really educating us. And I really appreciate that.
Well, thank you, Brett. It's been a joy talking with you and look forward to chatting with you again.
Of course. Well, guys, to you as well. Thanks for hanging out, spending your time as well. And we will see each of you on the next episode. Take care, everybody.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.